Now, let me just ask you a lightning round couple of questions. You've been asked a lot about the email investigation, but I want to ask you about some specific things very quickly. One, you've tried to calm Democrats' fears that there isn't going to be another shoe dropping. What basis did you tell this radio station, 1070 Radio, on Friday, that there is absolutely no possibility of an indictment? Has anybody from the DOJ talked to you or your representatives?
I will repeat what I said. That is not going to happen. There is no basis for it, and I'm looking forward to this being wrapped up as soon as possible.
Has anybody from the FBI talked to you or your representatives?
Oh, I know that they've been interviewing a number of people, and I've told people to cooperate, and I'm looking forward to also participating. I've offered to do so since last August.
You have said, I'll talk to anybody anytime, but you didn't talk to the state IG, State Department IG, and neither did any of your aides. Why not? And would you talk to the Judicial Watch deposition that they're asking for?
Well, I'm not going to comment on ongoing litigation or make any legal points here. I will say, with respect to the IG investigation, I have talked endlessly about the emails, and I testified, as you know, for 11 hours before the committee in the House, who had every opportunity to ask me a lot of questions, including about emails. So we had all this information in the public record. It would be the same as I would have said to anyone. And I think it was important to speak in the public, to release the emails, which I've called for, and I think as soon as I have a chance to speak with others, I will do so.
The State Department IG, though, wanted to talk to you, and you didn't want to do that.
It just didn't even, what they wanted to ask, we'd already talked about in the public arena. And, look, I think that report actually...
You've said, Secretary Clinton, I just want to press on
that report actually supported what I have been saying for years. The rules were not clarified.
Well, you said hundreds of people knew about the private email, and
the practice was
it
used by other secretaries of state. I've said it was a mistake. I certainly wouldn't do it again. But I think that, it basically pointed out that the rules were not clarified, and that both before me and after me for a period of time, secretaries of state had the same practice.
Two more things quickly. Secretary Clinton, you said you sent or received nothing that was marked classified, but you did sign a non-disclosure agreement, an NDA, in 2009 that said markings don't matter, whether it's marked or unmarked. You remember signing that?
No, I do not, but the fact is nothing that I sent or received was marked classified, and nothing has been demonstrated to contradict that. So it is the fact. It was the fact when I first said it. It is the fact that I'm saying it now. What you are seeing acted out is the desire of the different parts of the government to retroactively classify material so that it is not made public, since I did ask that all my emails be made public, and this is not an uncommon process. So again, I will just reiterate, nothing I sent or received at the time was marked classified.
Very last thing, the Clinton Foundation investigation, the FBI investigation of the email, you're saying zero chance that this is a problem for you in this election?
Absolutely. That's what I'm saying. That happens to be the truth.
Let me tell you why Hillary Clinton did not want to meet with the Inspector General. First of all, he would ask questions that the FBI would then have access to, and if she answered improperly, that is to say, if she lied to them like she's been lying to the American people, she could be found guilty of perjury. And look, let's be honest, she has misled the American people. This was allowed and permitted. The Inspector General report says it was not permitted. She never asked for it, and she would have been refused if she had. She said nothing classified ever passed through this network. We now know that is absolutely not true. She said, well, there was nothing classified at the time that it passed through the network. We know that's not true. We have been misled about this from top to bottom, and the reason she did not cooperate, and in addition, none of her top aides cooperated with, none of them even returned the written questionnaires to the Inspector General, was because they were afraid of getting thereby charged with perjury when it's found out that they were misleading.
And this is the problem, Bill. This is her biggest problem, is it not? The distrust of Hillary Clinton. They don't trust Trump on the GOP side, according to the exit polls, but they don't trust her far more. They trust him more than they trust her, because her numbers are, I mean, these are Democrats who say like 90% don't think that she rates well on honesty and trustworthiness.
Look, Megyn, I think if you're just listening to this interview, you're just listening to what Carl had to say, you'd think that Hillary Clinton and her aides answered no questions, participated in no attempt to get to the bottom of what happened here. They have answered hours and hours and hours of questions.
She would not
Hillary
sit
Clinton
with
has
her.
gone out and
She was
answered
the
questions
Secretary of
publicly.
State. She wouldn't speak with the State Department Inspector General. She was the Secretary of State.
She
Right,
only,
right.
she,
I think
her
the
people,
problem-
Wait, go
her
ahead.
people,
Let's for Bill.
only
Let's
she
for Bill,
has-
and then I'll go back to you, Carl.
Carl, just hold on 1 second. Carl, hold on 1 second. She has endlessly answered these questions, both publicly and privately. She's asked the FBI to come and interview her. They haven't. And so I think the notion that the Justice Department is somehow tangled up in this political web trying to help Hillary Clinton, it's just silly. Like no independent-minded observer
It's just a question of whether
if their boss.
The
president needs to step away from this.
There is
Hold
a
on a
reason.
second.
There is
Hold
a
on.
reason.
I'm going to give it back to you, Carl. But it's a question of whether when their boss comes out and says, I'd really like Hillary to be president, if you know what I'm saying, whether not James Comey, who's been suggested to be a very independent person, but perhaps our Attorney General says, you know what, I get the message, or she is placed in a very difficult position. Go ahead, Carl, take it away.
Yeah, look, let's be clear. Hillary Clinton and none of her top aides talked voluntarily to the Inspector General at all. The only reason that we're now understanding that her aides are talking to the FBI, which is also in that same room, are representatives of the U.S. Attorney for the Eastern District of Virginia and representatives of the National Security Division of the Department of Justice. The only reason they're sitting down and talking with them now is they're being compelled to. So, you know, there's a reason why they haven't yet talked to Hillary Clinton. They want to talk to everybody who was involved in this before they talk to her, so that they know everything they need to know in order to ask her the questions of why did you do this, who permitted you to, who did you think permitted you to do this, and to go into the meticulous detail of the kind of communications that went across that network. That's why she won't talk.
That does not